Hey, what's going on, folks? Ty from Bench Clear Media Network, and I'm excited to have you here today because we have a great episode 2 of Inside the Pitch, a 100% focused soccer podcast with Michael Rathburn as your host and me as the guy that just clicks the buttons and makes things work. But man, oh man, what a great conversation we have. A gentleman named Clay, vice president over at Tops, gave us 45 minutes of his time today, and we talk about all things soccer. And look, Clay's been there for 20 years, and he has a great perspective on the hobby, great perspective on what happens at Tops and everything that goes into it. He's seen it all, and you can tell by the comments and the insight that he provides. But you're going to want to watch, because whether you're a new soccer guy, an old soccer guy, you're going to walk away from this conversation learning a lot about where Tops is trying to go. And we talk a lot about the new product coming out next week, the 2020 Bowman release, Bowman MLS, which looks really, really fun, really, really cool. So we talk a lot about that, and then we talk about where that fits in the whole grand scheme of things with the vision that Tops has for soccer. So Inside the Pitch episode 2 is flaming hot. I cannot wait for you to watch it. Now, 2 things really fast. Number 1, we want to give away some of these packs that are releasing on Monday. We're going to give away 3 of them. All you have to do is you just need to tell us in the comments below, what soccer player are you most excited about right now? It can be a young guy, an old guy, doesn't matter. What soccer player are you most excited about right now? Put the comment below, and then on Monday night, so what does that make it? The 17th, Monday night after 9 p.m. Central, we'll randomize the comments, and we'll give away 3 of those Bowman MLS packs, and we'll ship those out to you when the product releases. So we appreciate you watching. I know Michael appreciates it. And we want to also give a quick shout out to Emily Kless. Thank you so much for connecting us on the top side with Clay. The second thing I just want to mention real quick is, my goodness, take a look at this logo. Are you kidding me? How cool is that? We're having some fun here at Bench Clear Media Network, and hopefully you get that vibe. The designer we had work on this did a great job. We're excited to roll out this new logo and some of the new branding that we have for all the different shows on the Bench Clear Media Network. Enjoy the conversation and Inside the Pitch episode number 2. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Women's soccer? Is this happening?
It's happening Monday.
Oh,
exclusively on tops.com.
All right, so all the details are out there. We can talk about this fully. Was that?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We could talk about it fully. We're super excited. This is the first time we've put MLS onto, the Bowman brand, but there's a lot of great young players. And that's why, we're here to talk about football, soccer.
Yeah.
There's just so many great players across the globe that are popping up, and fans and collectors are paying attention to them.
And when people go in to look for the rookie card and they can't find it. And so you guys are providing an option immediately and getting 80 guys that, whether they're quote unquote rookie cards or not. Right. It's 80 guys that now have a card, which is great. I mean, that's huge.
Right. I mean, there's people looking for Alphonso Davies rookie cards, but they don't even realize that he had an MLS card a couple of years ago.
Just talked about that on Discord the other day. 18 Tops, 18 Stadium. I said, go grab it. Yep.
Yeah. Right. And then, it's the kid, his name is skipping me.
Tyler Adams.
Yeah. Right. Play for Red Bulls.
I figured you'd mention him. Yep.
So, you're seeing American talent just getting global recognition.
Yeah.
Right. Like even the kid Efren Alvarez, who's on the Galaxy, he broke like the top 50 for like Wonder Kids, which is never. I don't think it's ever been done for an MLS. I don't think an MLS guy has ever made that list. So people are taking notice of the young stars. Not just in MLS, but across the globe.
Definitely.
Beautiful. Let's back up real quick.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? I'm so sorry. We're here today to talk about soccer cards, something that we feel like's been neglected in the hobby, and we're glad to be focusing on it. And we're super lucky to have Clay with us from Topps today. So we showed the Bowman video because we're pretty stoked about it. News just came out about the Bowman soccer release. But Clay, man, welcome to the show. We're excited about talking about soccer. We have Michael here because let's face it, we all know I don't know anything about soccer. I'm just here to facilitate. Michael's the expert in our world, but thanks for joining, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So real quick, maybe tell everybody what your role is at Topps. It sounds like you've been at Topps for a long time, and kind of tell us what you do now and what you did before.
Sure. I've been at Topps 20 years. For several years, I was the head of public relations for the company. And after that, I was part of the brand team. And now my official title is I am the global vice president of product development. So my team handles everything from start to finish on the creation of the product, the creative all the way through. So any new products, anything that comes out from an entertainment and sports genre it comes from our team.
Wow.
Beautiful. How many folks are on that team then? I'm assuming that team's growing like crazy right now.
Oh yeah. I don't know, 100. There's quite a few.
Yeah, you got to break it up by sport, and
there's quite a few, and that group is broken into different segments. You have a brand team, you have a creative team, you have an e-commerce team. It's a ton of stuff. It's a lot of work it takes a lot of people, and it's a lot of work to make a trading card product. Our traditional pack products, we work about a year out. So
that was one of the questions. That was one of the questions I had. Yeah, one of the questions I had is the difference between impact product that's being distributed to hobby and retail versus a product that's going direct to consumer from your website.
Right.
The differences on that, obviously it ties into Bowman and how you guys can pivot really quick. And just, can you give it some background as far as, if you can, speak on when did you come up with the idea for a Bowman MLS, and what did it, did you look at doing a top flagship? Why did you go with Bowman, and then why did you decide that direct to consumer was the best way to go?
Right. Mainly because we just had the tournament, and then they announced the season, which happened pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So you don't really have the time to go and, let me plan out this pack product and then we'll get it out the door. So you have to just be really, you got to be really quick and fluid with this. Just as we have to be with kind of all the sports right now, because the seasons have changed. Most of the leagues weren't even operating a month ago. So things kind of happened quickly. The good thing is that we reacted quickly. We have a team that can move fast, and our direct to consumer business is one of the fastest, in the entire industry. And that comes from just years of innovating and getting it to where it needs to be. It's been great.
Oh, that's cool.
When did you guys
On Bowman?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's something we've been thinking about for a while.
Yeah.
We just the time wasn't right. I think with, we thought about Bowman last year and the year before. Whenever we get a new license or we ever start working with a new partner, we always think about, hey, could this translate to the Bowman brand? Now that MLS has a ton of young talent that is definitely worth highlighting and featuring, it makes sense now. And if we put a pack product out there, would it perform? We're not sure. So let's try it in this format. And as we've seen with other products that are born from this direct-to-consumer model, if it does well, it could sure turn into something bigger. That's what we're hoping.
So when you're, this is fascinating because when you think about putting it in the context of Bowman, are you also thinking down the line, hey, this is a perfect placeholder for Bowman, but then Bowman Draft and then Bowman Chrome? Like, are you thinking that far in advance for something like a soccer release?
Yes.
Cool.
So we when we plan out the brand or the product, we're thinking, okay, where do we see this product 5-6 years down the road? Because at Topps, it's the reason why we've been around so long, is we are all about preserving the brand and having brands with longevity, right? Like if you look at our products, Finest, Topps, Chrome, even Allen & Ginter, which is a newish brand in regards to, the grand scheme of trading cards, it's already 15 years old. So
Stadium.
We have a lot of equity in our brands, and it's the reason why our consumers and collectors and fans go back to them each year, because they know it's something that's coming, and it's something that gets ingrained in their collecting repertoire, and they're expecting it. So I don't like doing one-offs. The team does not like to do one-offs. It's hard to do one-offs, right? If you have to recreate new products every year, that is very, very difficult.
Yep. You've already got the card Bowman, so half of the work, so to speak, is done. And the design is so incredibly crisp that as soon as people saw the cards today, and I did screenshots and did snipper tool on it and posted, people were flipping. They were like, "Oh my God, that card looks incredible." They didn't care who the player was. It just was like the card pops, and that's huge. Can you dig into a little bit more on the product? I had guys asking me a million questions, like, "Hey, are there going to be autos?" And I know you said they're going to be autos in the video. Is there going to be is there going to be chrome inserts? I want you just what's the configuration, the price?
So it's a print on demand product. It's going to run for a month.
Yep.
So we have set amount of parallels in the product. So whatever the final run is, those will fall based on the final run.
Okay.
But there's plenty of them in there where if we hit our projected orders, there should be enough parallels to go around. We have some autographs in there, not a ton.
Yeah.
But we wanted to keep the price point reasonable, right? If you start putting too many autographs in there, then your price point has to, fluctuate. It has to go up. And we just didn't feel like, did it go black for a second? Oh, nope. My screen went black for a second.
It's funny that you mentioned it. You're nailing everything I had talked about with, I had basically said soccer doesn't need bells and whistles right now. It just needs product. And this product is really going to bring over, first off, you're piggybacking on the success of Bowman First Baseball, which was widely popular and widely successful. Then you're getting the audience that you have a consumer list already that bought all that product that you can market to. So the chances that somebody that bought Bowman First Baseball or buying Bowman Soccer is extremely high. I got to imagine it's going to be, I'm going to throw a number out there. It's probably going to be at least 60, 65%. I would think. I'm just going to, I know it sounds high, but the crossover is going to be huge. Is it going to be the same configuration where you're going to be able to buy a certain number of packs? It's not going to be in a box, correct?
Yeah, it's going to be a $10 pack.
Okay.
The configuration will be a little bit different. This is something, again, we're letting it run for a month, so everyone has an opportunity to get it. And my expectations will be, we'll see how the first week goes, and then we'll go from there. The great thing about direct to consumer is you can monitor to see how the product is performing, and if it's not doing what you want it to do, you can actually make adjustments in the middle. And there are times where obviously there's been a lot of times where we just don't make enough, and things go a little haywire.
Project 2020 is a prime example of the wild, crazy roller coaster. I'm sure that you guys dealt with are dealing with that.
Right. Yeah. Everyone's on there to grab the artist proofs. then the other cards run for some time. But yeah, it's all a balance. It's all balancing, right? The thing is, we want to grow soccer. We want to push this product. This isn't going to be something that people can't get. And then at some point there'll be offshoots. There'll be other products that are either shorter or longer. And we have a our strategy is we want to have something for everyone, right? And that's why we make packs from like entry level, like an opening day baseball, all the way to like a transcendent that costs $20,000. So a little bit of something for everyone.
A question on growing the soccer market in general. What would you say are the big hurdles right now to growing the soccer market? I mean, outside of just exposure, what are you finding is kind of the more difficult thing to do growing the soccer market?
I think it's just educating the consumer.
I wrote.
Right. There you go.
Yep.
It's just educating the consumer, really, like people, understanding like what the different leagues are. That a European team plays in a league, but then they play into the Champions League or the Europa League, and understanding who the players are. I remember the first time I really tried to understand soccer is I read that book Fever Pitch, and I was really, really confused because I was like, how is every game a cup? I didn't understand it, but then now that I've, been to Champions League games and been to Premier League games.
Whoever designed our road system, I think, designed European soccer. I mean, it all is connected. It does make sense.
Right. But now it makes sense. And plus, you're trying to educate, and you're trying to educate people across the globe with football products. Because even though we've been doing football products for a long time, football products have really changed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Traditionally, it was stickers, and then it was trading card games, and now these hobby products are out there, and people are really interested in them. So I don't think there are a ton of barriers from the manufacturer side. It's really educating the consumer.
Yeah, I mean, people are like, "Hey, why isn't Mbappe in this set?" And then you got to go into a whole explanation of why, and then it's like, "Oh, I get it. I understand now." Okay, so that part's pretty cool. We talked about the globalization. Do you guys look at your data, your sales data, and do you have any idea what percentage is outside the United States versus domestic versus international?
Oh, for our football products, our soccer products? Oh, it's most of it's outside the United States.
Wow.
Okay.
Asia is a big player in it, and that's because the teams do they have television deals in those countries. Those teams, they tour to those countries. Asia, Europe, Australia, Eurasia, Australia, Oceania, like it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And the interesting thing about watching this thing kind of explode in North America is there at one point there was nothing going on, and then all of a sudden there was a bunch going on.
For me, it was March. And real quick, the story I tell everybody is, I've been collecting soccer now for almost a little over a year. And most of the time it was like Hong Kong, Australia, China, India, Indonesia, or Denmark. And all of a sudden it was people from Texas and Virginia and Oregon. And I was like, what's going on here?
Right.
And once domestic, I started seeing domestic. I knew. The second thing I saw was grading. When I started seeing graded cards of Pele, Diego, Messi, Ronaldo, that's when I knew. I said, okay, domestic has grabbed a hold of this, and they're going to. This thing's going to be a rocket ship. I'm sure.
And I think all those stars outside of the U.S. they'll bring attention to just soccer globally, and it's gonna lift the boats for all leagues, including MLS will benefit off this. The young players of the MLS will benefit off this, and then there'll be speculation about players in the MLS. Are they going to go end up with a team in Europe, one of the big teams? And that's where Bowman is perfect, because even if you're not a diehard soccer fan, you know that Bowman is the place to find the future stars.
Yep.
So you're going to get people, yes, you're going to get Bowman baseball card collectors who are going to buy this product because they're going to say, okay, maybe I take a position in this player, or I grab a couple packs because someone in there might turn into the next star.
I agree. Totally.
Yeah.
That mentality of 3 to 5 years is already built in, So prospecting soccer is huge because people think about the minor league player pool for baseball, and obviously it's huge. It holds no comparison to soccer.
Right.
The player pool for soccer is infinite.
We were just talking today about how, a team will loan a player out to another team, and it could be the team's future star, but they're just there so they can get some playing time, and then they'll come back.
Yep.
And there's just so many nuances, which I actually think, once you get to learn them, they're actually really great.
Yep.
And it's fun, and there's a lot of digging. And I feel like every day there are kind of these future stars and prospects that I learn about for the first time. And you're like, oh, I didn't know Barcelona had that guy. And now they're bringing him to the big club. So it's interesting. And unlike minor league baseball, these players, and even in the US, these players are in their programs starting out when they're like kids.
Yeah, 16. Yep.
So their academies are massive.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. Oh, baseball, but for the academies, the kid could be in there, just like Xavier Simons was in Barcelona or wherever, Real Madrid, where I forgot where he originally started, but he at 8 years old. I mean, kid, he running around as a little kid holding up trophies. I mean, it's
I mean, in Madrid, they air the 12 and under Madrid soccer games on television.
Yeah.
It's
Crazy.
It's insane.
Yep.
So I think this heat that's been around trading cards leading up to this the last couple of years, and now soccer's really feeling it. Mm-hmm. I think this is the time where the MLS people are gonna recognize, wow, there's some great young players in here.
It's the easiest way to get people into soccer. And I know everybody would say, oh, I want UEFA Champions League. No, because then you got to break down, there's a lot of learning, like we talked about, consumer education. There's not a lot of hurdles with MLS. It's it's MLS, that's it. All these guys are playing, it's not different leagues, or why isn't this guy in, or why isn't that guy in? So it's the barrier of entry, and it's so easy that I think you pick the right product in the right league to do it with. And can you how many cards per pack are going to be in it? Do you know?
10 cards per pack.
Oh, okay. That's okay. And any I guess you wouldn't know because it's gonna be print on demand, but is it all going to be quote unquote paper Bowman, or are there going to be Bowman Chrome in there?
Yeah, no Chrome cards. Chrome, as you could probably imagine, is just very, very expensive to print. But my hope is here's my hope. My hope is this product does really well, and then maybe there's a Chrome version down the road. So we'll see what happens.
I don't think that'll be an issue, but it totally makes sense what you're saying. You're trying to keep the cost down as much as possible. And like we said, soccer doesn't need bells and whistles. It needs product. And how cool is it that you're going to buy a pack of cards for $10, get 10 cards, and technically 8 out of the 10 in the pack are going to be quote unquote rookies.
Right.
That's unheard of. And that's always been an issue with soccer. Soccer has traditionally been a 100-card set. 90 or 95 guys are the veterans, and 5 are collectible, and maybe there's 5 kids. And then 80 cards in the set are only attractive to that niche audience who collects that team or that player from that country. So this is so much more broad, where people are just going to collect it for the sake of collecting it because it's an 18-year-old kid playing for Kansas City.
How many packs are you in for?
Oh, 1,000. Minimum 10. I mean, I'm going to want a set.
Cool.
I mean, I would think, and that kind of leads us down the road of the whole bot thing. And, I had a lot of people today say, well, if the bots are going to buy up all the product and I'm not going to get my hands on it, so, how are you guys looking at that and addressing that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like any company with an e-commerce platform that's wildly successful. They have to deal with, security issues. That's an ongoing thing. It's getting much better. Our last couple releases that we did where we expected, kind of a huge influx of consumers, it worked out well. So it's just continuing to try and be better each day with each release. But yeah, we don't like when that happens. It's very frustrating. And a product like this that goes on for a month, that shouldn't have that problem.
I think now from the time that you guys posted on Monday, 30 days later, you stop, and then you're going to print the product. How long from when you print the product to it's going to get to a consumer? What would be the window on that?
Probably we probably print it over like the next 8 to 10 days. And then from there, like 5 business days till it gets to, yeah.
I was going to get 2 So.
Yeah. It really depends on what else is going on at that printer, because, sometimes we'll have several different jobs running, and then it just comes as like, okay, do we have time to print all this? But, it's going into a box instead of a pack, so it's easier to pack out. We're making it as efficient as possible. And look, I would love to have the problem is like, oh, we have so many orders, so the printing is going to take longer. I hope I hope we have that issue. But in general, it should be pretty quick.
I really do, and I'm not just saying that as a fanboy. I think that I don't know if you listened to. I did a show last week, and I did one about 3 or 4 weeks ago, or about a month ago, and I did drop. We were just shooting from the hip, and I just said, boy. Topps, kind of repeating what you said in the beginning about the flagship, the history of the brands and the equity. And I said, man, think about if they did a Heritage, if they did a Stadium, if they did a Chrome. Obviously, you're already doing Chrome, but what a Topps flagship and all the special things that you guys do with Top Flagship, bringing that over. But then I talked about Bowman, and I said, that's been really the big issue with soccer product is that the rookie cards, and that kind of leads me into one of the questions I had is. And that's one of the hurdles too when you talk about consumer education is we get the rookie card designation in all the other sports, but we don't necessarily get it in soccer. Now Panini does do it, but it's a gray area. I mean, they're slapping RC designation on stuff that people are like, hey, the guy's 32 years old. So, you guys don't do it. So, kind of talk about that a little bit.
We're actually going to start doing it.
Okay.
Because we saw it as we talked earlier about like just educating the consumer. We want to start educating the consumer on what a rookie card is. Even the word rookie is not, it's not a term people use in Europe, but we've decided we're going to do an RC logo across the board in all of our football products globally. Awesome. You're going to start seeing it very, very soon. So we're excited. I think the important part of that too is creating a criteria of what an RC is. Back in the day, there was like, Beckett would say, okay, it needs to be this, and this, and this. And then we finally got to a place where everyone knows what a rookie card is. And I think that will be important. I think for football to grow, there'll need to be some kind of, some self-imposed rules and parameters to help build this, this collecting segment. For example, we're seeing pockets of collecting all over Europe. They're small, but they're growing each week. And our job now is how do you harness that and give those people a place to do what they want to do, right? So we have to make sure that we kind of, that we're just investing time and energy to help grow it, not just sell cards, but create a community.
So I know like in baseball, right, it's really easy to get kind of momentum because players buy into it, and you see players, you do videos, they're signing cards, trading. Do you see that momentum picking up with MLS players and soccer players trading their own cards and getting excited about it? Or are you at that point yet?
Yeah, no, I think so. A lot of soccer players don't grow up collecting or knowing about soccer cards, whereas
Yes.
baseball players, they kind of get it, right? Like when a minor leaguer player signs their Topps contract, they know, like, oh, I've made it because I got my first baseball card. Um, but it's our job to get trading cards in front of the players more, so they're educated about what this is, and the more they know, the more they can talk about it. And when a kid comes up to them at the stadium and asks for an autograph on the trading card, they can actually have some kind of um, discussion or interaction about what this is.
Can you talk about what's happened so far in 2020 as far as COVID and what kind of havoc that wreaked on your product release? Because we really had a dark period for about 6 months, if not longer. Original release dates on Finest and
Yeah.
UEFA Chrome and Bundesliga Chrome and Museum were all obviously thrown out the window. And what kind of difficulty? No, this is a multiple part question, but because we're waiting for the product, obviously, and you guys obviously want to get it out there.
Right.
UEFA Chrome is going to be a monster release.
Right.
Is any idea when UEFA Chrome could potentially be out, and what is it because of COVID that things have been delayed?
Yeah, there's capacity issues where we manufacture our cards. That's no secret, and it's really just like any other business. The places where we print cards, they have their issues. So we're trying to get out stuff as fast as possible. We do have we have a projected date for those products you just mentioned. They will be out. They're not out at the exact time we want them out, but they will be. And it's just, I appreciate everyone's being really patient with us. And I think at the end of the day, I think it pays off because when the product gets in their hand, from what I'm seeing, like people are super, super excited.
They're even
So,
more thirsty than they are for anything. They're
yeah.
thirsty. I mean, it's Can you talk about the role that Topps now in the living play in your soccer portfolio and where you see that headed? I'm kind of wondering, like, Topps now is great, but the print runs are so low that is it really, what's the reasoning behind doing it? Obviously, the one that you guys just put out for Europa and getting the Mason Greenwood card out there was genius. That was an awesome. I mean, I was like sitting there thinking, it's funny. I'm talking to a buddy of mine. I'm like, boy, is there a way that Topps can get a Mason Greenwood rookie? Are we going to get any more Mason Greenwood cards? And then it was like within an hour, he goes, look at what they just did. So just talk about those two on demand, the now and the UCL, I think is obviously with the Ronaldo. I had predicted a 10,000 print run. Looks like it came in a little bit over 10,000. Obviously that was a monster.
Right. I mean, the numbers are, the cards fall where they may, whether we sell one card or 1 million, we sell it for the 24-hour period and then the clock goes off. We're not going to try and manipulate that at all. I think that's the special thing about that program. And you're going to have good runs, you're going to have short runs, and you're going to have big runs. And but for the most part, it's for people who really want to relive that moment that happened, last night. That fan that says, "Hey, I was watching that," or when they were in the stadium, "Hey, I was at that game. I want a card to commemorate that." That's what that program's about. And it's also about capturing things very quickly and getting them into consumers' hands. So, yeah, I mean, look, we're doing MLS. We do Bundesliga, we do Champions League. So there's a lot of different Topps Now programs, and yeah, I think as this segment of trading cards grows, you'll see that grow as well.
Any plans for Europa? I imagine it would probably be a website product, but the biggest reason for Europa is obviously I'm talking about the guy is Greenwood,
Right.
and creating a Greenwood card because obviously we know he's pretty much the number one rookie card this year, so to speak. Him and Fati. But
Right.
like Greenwood card, with Donruss came out at $200.
Right.
So I mean, he's got that Zion type of, or Jason Dominguez type of impact.
Yeah, we'll do more Europa stuff. We'll do more Greenwood stuff. And yeah, I think you're going to see some great stuff coming from Topps just across the board with football products. And I think, the it's starting to mature, the hobby in soccer. So it's the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah, trust me. I mean, 4 years ago, I wanted to put out 20 something products, but it's not ready, because sometimes if you go too early,
Yeah.
it could backfire on you, and you flood the market, and it's not ready. But
Yep.
now we see, you'll see a couple more Champions League products from us next year. So we'll continue to build. We'll build responsibly. We're not going to overdo it. We're gonna make the right amount, and we'll let the demand kind of dictate what happens. Even the Bundesliga products, which were kind of mainly sold in Germany the last couple of years. Now they're getting, people in North America, collectors in Asia want it. So, we'll probably add another product to that portfolio as well in Bundesliga. Potentially a finest product.
Are you guys, speaking of Bundesliga, my Jude Bellingham obviously is a guy that, much like Mason Greenwood, when he has a card, it's going to be huge. When it's 16, you talked to earlier, there are no drafts.
Right.
There's this transfer period, and, that's another consumer education. What exactly is transfer period and why? Jude Bellingham is a guy a kid who's 16 years old, just signed with Dortmund. Obviously, when his card comes out, it's going to be huge, much like Gio Reyna, much like Erling Haaland, much like Jadon Sancho, much like Christian Pulisic. I mean, the legacy of kids going to Dortmund is just crazy. And so you're going to piggyback on that. You guys did a couple of sets that were just strictly Dortmund sets, which is incredible because of the popularity of these players. So, you obviously could do that. But what I'm leading up to is, does a player need to play in a game, similar to the MLB rules? Does he need to be on the quote unquote roster? And does he need to play in a game in order for you to make a card?
No. And it actually differs from team to team.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a really strong, as you can tell from the products, we have an amazing partnership with Dortmund.
Yeah.
We're doing, we came out with this high-end product. I don't know if you saw it, the high-end product where we only did 100 sets.
Yep.
No one knows this, but a Chrome version of that is coming out. And right now, Bellingham is slated to be in there. So yeah, and then we'll have a team set later on this year of Dortmund. And right now, all things goes the way we want it to, Bellingham will be there. So Bellingham will be obviously a big name for 2021 products. And fortunately, we have a great relationship with Dortmund. And we got what happened last year with Haaland was incredible. And I would say probably the number one reason why, not the number one reason, but one of the main reasons why the soccer business has spiked, just because of the interest in his card.
Have any cards? Everything got delayed. He probably would have had a card at the end of 19 or the beginning of 2020, but everything got pushed back. I mean, I know you guys were putting out sell sheets for Bundy Chrome, probably August or October of last year.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like there's nothing you guys could do.
Well, you saw he appeared in his two different cards too, two different teams. That's because he was, by the time we actually got the product out the door, he was already at a different team.
Yeah.
So I think that worked out.
It did. It's really cool. I think there's opportunity there to do some cool stuff. Put a guy in his country's uniform. Put a guy in his, just whatever the rules are that you guys got to play by. I think that's really cool. Speaking of that, the original configuration for Finest had talked a lot about a 300 card set and a certain number, like a 50 card short print, and obviously that got changed. I never really heard anybody kind of explain that. and I'm sure I know why. You just had to go to. You said you had to draw the line and say, "Hey, we got to go to press. We got to do this."
I mean, there's been, as part of, issues with manufacturing, we've had to change the configurations. We try to stay pretty true to everything, but there have been times where we do have to make some changes. We don't want to, but we try not to mess with it too much and do what we got to do. Because at some point, you're just like, it's the most important thing is getting it out the door.
Absolutely. Do relics and autographs cause a major delay in developing getting a soccer product to market?
Yeah, I think, because part of it is that the process of, procuring autographs and relics is really a new thing for football teams. And, MLB has their own authentication program where they know how they know how it works.
Yeah.
So it's just something, again, you talked about education earlier. It's also, educating the teams on, how a product is produced and how we get things from them into the product. So it just takes some time. There's some bumps, but I think the teams are very excited about, helping them grow their brand. And if we can do that, the better. I mean, Dortmund, which we've done a bunch of like individual team sets with, they handed out sets to everyone in the team, the players, the staff. They love it. So yeah, it's and they're more educated now about like what we do. So yeah, and that's jerseys and autographs.
Obviously every sport in this hobby has exploded. To me though, when I think of soccer, it's fun. Yeah, guys, cards are worth a ton of money, but I got to tell you, when I bought Bundesliga Chrome and I wanted to get my Gio Reyna and I wanted to get my Holland, and it was that kid excitement again.
Right.
Maybe don't get a lot of in the hobby these days because of the price.
Right.
And so that for me has really brought back, a lot of excitement. I feel like a kid again when I'm buying some of the soccer product, because there's certain specific cards that I'm looking for, because let's face it, it's not like, I tell everybody's like, oh, what, I'm trying to get this guy's rookie card. It's like, okay, well, you got to go digging for it and you got to figure out what it was. But also, a Gio Reyna has got one official rookie card right now that came from a pack.
Right.
And that is like the old days, Topps Fleer Donruss. I mean,
Right.
card in each. So to me, I like it. I mean, obviously I want more soccer product. I'm not going to, but
Right.
there is some simplicity to it. The sets are smaller. And it's tough, the Prism sets 300 cards. It's great. It's more designed for that hardcore collector who wants 18 Arsenal cards.
Right.
So the 100 card set works to get new people in. I'm sure you guys will eventually expand some of those sets now that the market has grown. And was there like an aha moment for you guys this year? Kind of like the one I told you, I felt like March was when you mentioned it earlier that you thought, like, when was that aha moment where all of a sudden everybody in the room or on the call was like, hey guys, football, the rocket ship's coming, man. I mean,
Yeah. I think some of the fever around the Holland stuff was really, people are calling, hey, do you have this? Do you have this? And it's like, no, we don't have any more. And
right.
Sometimes, the European collectors, they don't understand, like, what do you mean you ran out? It's just like, yeah,
that's funny.
We make to order, so we
Right.
don't have any.
Probably had more of an inkling because you're making the nows and you're seeing the print run demands and you're seeing the spikes. It's look at Living. Living had, obviously Messi came out number 1, 3,000 print run. There was a huge uptick, a lot like Project 2020, and then all of a sudden it just dropped off. Ironically, Sancho, who was like a print run of like 200, which is crazy because it'd probably be like 10 grand right now. And there's a couple other guys that I think are in there too. I think De Bruyne is really low, and there was a couple of really big names that were just the timing. But then it started to go back up, and I think it was with the Holland release is when the print runs on Living just started to explode. And you got a big number on Davies, big number on Ronaldo, obviously, big number on Reyna, and you guys are at card 200. And there are so many guys left that you guys can living. There's no shortage. And you guys could keep. There's a lot of names.
There's just so many players. Yeah, and and I don't know how much you can contribute to this, but I do remember, right when the whole shelter in place thing kind of went down across the country. I remember seeing an article as the lead story, front and center on ESPN, and it was kind of this random article about here are the top young stars in football. And it seemed out of place. I almost thought I was on the wrong site for a second. I was like, I'm on the European ESPN site. And I can't say it directly contributed to this, but after that story came out, I saw a lot of movement happening.
Yeah.
I saw the Mbappe card take off after that.
That was Gary V. Gary V was Mbappe.
But people are at home. Yeah. People are at home. They're looking to do something different. They're getting back into their card collections, and I think people are going like, "Hey, let me get into soccer cards." This is early times, right? This is the beginning. So you're having great. Hey, 5 years down the road, so enjoy it now while you're the only one breaking packs and get stuff, but I think down the road it could get big as any of the other sports.
Here's the question. When are people fighting each other at Target and Walmart for soccer cards? When is that going to happen?
I can tell you when I think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, if Target and Walmart had carried Bundesliga Chrome, they would have.
Good point.
Yeah.
So, can I piggyback on what you just said? You said if Target was that a decision by retail, or is it because your soccer product has never really been a retail product? It's been a hobby only.
Yeah, and it's not saying the big boxes don't want to carry it. They're going to carry what is a guaranteed seller, and baseball and other sports have been doing well.
Yeah.
The smart people working over there, they'll see the trends. And I guarantee you next year that's going to change a little bit.
Well, 18 Donruss sat on the shelf forever.
Right.
And now those blasters are $80. And Panini Prism sat on shelves forever. And now those blasters are $60?
Oh, trust me, there were boxes sitting around our offices for years. And now I go back and go, oh man, we should have opened those packs.
17 champions, chromes. I mean, God, what are those now? For the box. I mean, those are some crazy numbers.
Yeah, no, it's really exciting to see a sport take off like this in the beginning, right? Like this is the birth of the soccer trading card business.
The stars,
it's been around, but this is the beginning of it, and it's fun to watch.
The stars aligned. I mean, it's like a lot like basketball, and the fact that and I'm a very analytical guy. I do that for a living. I do a lot of consumer behavior analysis, and I just take things into consideration.
Right.
Football, American football. One of the hurdles, believe it or not, is the fact that the guys wear a helmet, so you can't see their face.
Right.
Basketball, and it's done with MLB. Basketball and hockey, basketball and soccer, you can see the player. You can see the emotion. You can see what happens after every goal in soccer. The guy runs to the corner and does a slide and celebrates with his teammates. What happens, in basketball after a dunk and a timeout? So there's a lot of correlation. The basketball market and also you have branded popular teams in soccer. And these guys are mega stars, not even superstars. These guys are mega stars. They make more money than any other athletes in the world.
Right. And soccer's played in every country in the world. And most of those countries don't, that sport doesn't have to compete with 4 other major sports. It's the only sport.
Yeah, that's a good point.
For the most part.
And FIFA is one of the most popular video games ever produced. Right. And that is a huge piece of this as well. Your video game guys are now looking at it and saying, "Oh, I don't want digital cards. I want paper cards." And they're the most intelligent out of anybody as far as the market.
Right.
Video game guys, huh? Is that our new term we're going to start using? That's we're way past the time we promised you, man. Seriously, thank you so much for. So real quick, a little bit about you. I mean, what who do you collect? Do you PC a guy? Do you have a favorite set every year? Kind of what's your collecting story real quick?
Oh, wow. So I kind of dabble in a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So, I went through when I was a kid, I collected Barry Bonds cards. So that was my thing. I have because I'm a Giants fan, I have a big Buster Posey collection. I have a big Roberto Clemente vintage card collection.
Oh, cool.
I love this stuff from the 50s. But yeah, as far as like soccer's been going, picked up a couple Felix rookie cards, picked up a couple Howland rookie cards, and picked up a couple of Efrain Alvarez cards. I think down the road, we did his card a couple years ago. I think he's like 15 years old in the picture. But he has the potential to be, I think, a star in the MLS, and not only in MLS, but beyond that.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I picture you walking over like Willy Wonka, right, and taking a piece of chocolate off the print line, taking your rookie card and say, "I'll take that one."
Yeah, no. I wish. Just opened a box of Series 2 here.
Yeah.
Got some. Looking for my my Luis Robert rookie card.
Beautiful.
But yeah, what I tell our team all the time is, if you have passion, you're going to make great products. And sometimes it used to bother me because you go online and you hear people saying, oh, those people at Topps, they're just probably like in suit and tie sitting in the White Tower. Like, no, we all collected and we still collect, and we're super passionate about this business. Like, I've been collecting since I was 6 years old. Like,
you can absolutely see that with the card, like an Andrew McCutcheon photo variation type card. I mean, that's right. The kind of stuff that back in the day, 91 Stadium Club baseball, Nolan Ryan dressed up in a tuxedo. Right. Those are awesome. I mean, people still remember that stuff. And, right. Whether it's somebody blowing a bubble or, I mean, baseball, you can do really cool stuff with mascots and stuff like that. But you can see that the passion comes through, especially on Topps flagship, because the photography, the short prints, the creativity on the, Babe Ruth signing a bunch of baseballs or Ted Williams. I mean, those are iconic cards. I mean, that to me, I collect those. I collect the SOPs. They're my favorite.
Right. Well, it's all about, at the end of the day, the reason why, we've resonated with consumers for over 70 years is because we make an emotional connection, right? Like, I was talking about this with someone the other day. They're like, yeah, I had the 85 Gooden card and I just can't get rid of it. Even though, Gooden's life kind of made a turn. Yeah. He just can't get rid of that card because he's like emotionally attached to it because it reminds him of his childhood. And that's, there's a lot of brands that can't do that, and we're lucky to be able to do that. And you're seeing a time right now where a lot of people are inside, they're looking for something to do, they're going up in their attic, they're going in their garage, and they're rediscovering their collection and sharing it with their kids. I mean, I'm sharing my 8-year-old daughter. We just went through a bunch of Star Wars cards this morning. So and she's been getting into Star Wars, so I shared the collection with her, and she's like, I saw her putting the set together. So, there's this emotional connection that can be passed down from generation to generation. And like I said, there really aren't many brands that can do that. So we're very fortunate. And as long as you have that and you continue to innovate, we've always prided ourselves on innovation. Topps Now, Project 2020, things that kind of transcend the business and take the business to new levels. That's what we're all about.
What an ending. We can't say it better.
Thank you.
Amazing. Great stuff. Clay, we really do appreciate the time. We look forward to talking all about Bowman soccer and everything else coming out the coming months. So great job.
Invite me back again. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you up on that offer, no doubt.
I appreciate the time and giving me a chance to be on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. All right.
Oh my goodness, man. What a great conversation with Clay.
We got so much. I mean, in just 45 minutes or whatever we went. I mean, I could have talked to that guy for 10 hours, obviously, but that's just I talk. Just getting information from certainly from the takeaway. Topps is going full force with soccer 2021, yep. And the fact that I was able to get that nugget out about the Chrome Bundesliga set with Bellingham, that tells me they got their hand on the finger on the pulse.
Yep.
And whatever product that comes, it's going to be monster. I mean, we got to remember, man, these kids are 16, 17 years old, already have a huge following. They sign a mega contract to transfer and play for these teams. And, it's kind of the equivalent of who's like, a 17, 18-year-old kid going to the Lakers and playing with LeBron, or, a kid going to play with Steph, or, these kids are going to the big market teams. I mean, Dortmund, now that it looks like Sancho is not going to leave, has Sancho, Haaland, Reina, Bellingham. I mean, that's like putting Zion, Ja, RJ Barrett, and Tyler Hero on the same team. It's crazy. Or it's like putting Luka, Trey, Zion, and Ja on the same team. I mean, think about that. That's the equivalent of what Dortmund has.
Crazy.
It's nuts. And they're going to be high. Like, the thing about Dortmund too, it's like they're going to be scoring 4, 5, 6 goals a game, and they're going to be on every highlight. And we saw the Sancho climb. His card, like when I think he had like that 3-goal game or whatever.
Yep.
He started breaking records, and he was the youngest to hit certain milestones, and we saw that with Kai Havertz. I mean, once these guys started hitting milestones, that's when their cards really started to jump. I mean, let's pretend and say that Haaland Chrome came out in January. Maybe it would have came out at $10, $15. I mean, there was a lot of hype already built up, but let's say it was 20. You would have saw that card go up, 30, 40, 50, to hit the 100 that it landed on, 125 that it landed on. Came out of the gate at 125. So, it just goes to show you the buildup in demand, yeah. I mean,
can I make a confession? And I don't want you to judge me, but he said that he read the book Fever Pitch.
I heard of it. I'm not, I'll admit I've heard of it. I don't know. Oh, no, definitely not.
Oh, I know. This is literally, I couldn't stop thinking.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to, I've heard of it and I can't remember what it is. Here's what I will tell you. I want to give the audience some stuff that they can go get. So the number one thing that I would tell you to go watch is on Amazon Prime. They did an All or Nothing. And if you know what All or Nothing is, they've done it with some NFL teams, and it's phenomenal. It's basically like a Hard Knocks, but it's better, and they go deeper. They did All or Nothing with Man City 2 years in a row. Okay. That's why Man City is my favorite team. You got to learn about those guys on a personal level that just blew me away. So that All or Nothing Manchester City, definitely go. I mean, you will binge watch it. And I've actually watched it twice. That would be one. There's another one that is, and I'm trying to remember who the it's about a club that got delegated out of the Premier League and then got delegated out of the second Championship League and is now in the third rung. And I don't know if they got back into the second rung or not. And I'm trying to remember the name of it, but there's another documentary out there of them. There's a ton of, go look up soccer documentaries on Amazon Prime and Netflix. There's tons of them.
Wow.
If you want to learn about the sport, it's really, really cool. That's good stuff.
Great info. Well, what a great 45 minutes. I am so super stoked to get this out to people. Good job. Episode 2, we're already going big, man. Going big.
All right. I mean, yeah.
I just want to say this again, man. Clay was absolutely outstanding before, during, and after. What a great dude.
I mean, we now know who the guy is running product, so to speak, over at Topps, and now you can see why almost everything they put out is gold. And I can't wait to see some of the soccer product that comes out and the creativity that they have, because like he said, and we talked about it a week ago and a month ago, the portfolio of brands is second to none. And now we're just starting to see, Bowman, and I guarantee you we will see a Topps flagship in a huge way in 2021. I think you're going to see, it's going to be hobby, it's going to be retail, it's going to be jumbo, it's going to be everywhere. And I think that, that's really going to be the kickoff.
Beautiful stuff. Great job, man. Have yourself a good weekend.
Yeah.
Be sure to subscribe, people. Michael Rathburn's kicking some butt in soccer. All right.
Buy your Bayern Munich cards now.
You're cutting out. What? All right, brother. I'll see you.
All right. Thanks.